What's going on? If Indiana Jones just suddenly became an executive for a tech company, this is the bag that he'd be rocking. Let's talk about the WaterField Designs Tech Folio in the regular 19-liter size. I've been using it every day for the past couple of weeks. I've taken it on motorcycle rides, camping, hiking, which yes, I know this is not a bag that is designed for hiking, and a little bit of everything in between. I've really enjoyed using it so far. I'll share my absolute favorite things about it, a couple nitpicks that I have, walk you through it, and ultimately I'll get into what I find makes this bag so unique and why, for a very specific type of person that might be looking for something with a heritage aesthetic, but they want the creature comforts that you get in more modern day bags, this is going to be potentially the best fit for a lot of people that fall into that category, including myself. So let's get into it. Really quickly, before I share my favorite things about it, for anyone that might be less familiar with WaterField Designs, this is a brand that's actually been around for close to 3 decades. Gary Waterfield has been making these beautiful yet highly functional handcrafted bags out of his shop in San Francisco since the late 90s. I find that it's very refreshing that in this digitally overstimulating world that we live in, they continue relying on word of mouth as they're doing virtually no marketing whatsoever. So what you're paying for with this bag is the fact that it is handmade. It's made here in the US, in San Francisco, using the highest quality materials possible. And that's it. You're not paying for baked in marketing goods. So even though $400 is a lot of money, if you compare it to other bags in the wax canvas, leather, high-end heritage style bag space, it's very comparable pricing wise to the vast majority of the other options out there. This is very much a brand that if you know, it's because you're in the know. I don't think I've read anything negative about WaterField Designs. They've stealthily grown a cult-like following for a lot of justifiable reasons, which I'll get into now. My absolute favorite things about this bag is really the combination of these 3 things, which I find that in most heritage bags, you only get 1, maybe 2, but not the 3. First and foremost is just the look and feel. Secondly is the sheer amount of organization that you get within this bag. And then lastly, its comfort relative to its weight and overall like heritage style segment that it falls in. Starting off with the look and feel, I am an absolute fanatic of wax canvas and leather. Generally speaking, I just always gravitate towards natural materials. They have a simplicity, a timelessness, and most importantly, they're materials that reward you the more you use them, the longer you have them. I've only had the bag for a couple of weeks and the full grain leather already has so much personality. The wax canvas is scuffed up, scratched up, and it just looks great. I find that with a lot of synthetic materials, modern day bags, when you scuff them up, you just naturally want to clean them up. You're maybe a little bit more careful about where you place them because you don't want to get them dirty. Whereas this is a material that, like, when I took it camping, it was just like in its natural environment, getting thrown around in the dirt and rocks and all that good stuff. Aesthetically, I feel like it doesn't really remind me of any other bag. It's so its own thing. You can maybe say subtle touches of the Goruk GR1 and wax canvas, but even still, I find that bag is a lot more utilitarian, tactical looking. And then if you look at a lot of the more like OG heritage brands like Filson or Frost River, Bradley Mountain, those are definitely a lot more on the hardcore traditional look of just an old school heritage bag. This has just a really nice balance of being old school, yet having that modern minimalism throughout the bag that's more prevalent on the inside. And yeah, wax canvas, oof, I mean, it just feels so good to the touch. Beyond the look, the organization on this bag is almost like too much, which I think for a lot of people, they're gonna geek out on it, but all day prefer having too much organization than not enough. The vast majority of heritage style bags, especially the traditional ones, you get very minimal to no organization. The GR1 in wax canvas, you get a little bit of external organization, but it's very much designed for people who prefer just having a big main compartment space, throw a tech pouch in there, and that's your go-to method. But if you look here in the front admin panel, I've never seen so much organization in a front admin panel. And it's not just the sheer amount of organization, but the versatility and types of pockets. So you can really find a dedicated place for all of your essentials that will fit perfectly in one of these pockets. When I walk you through it, I'll get into it in more detail. As you can see, bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pockets just here, and then you have an additional 2 pockets in the main compartment for organization. And then lastly, here you have the only external quick access that you have is this little magnetic closure. You get a very comfortable amount of space. I love that you don't have to dig too deep in there, but it's still deep enough that you can fit a lot of your essentials. And the magnet is super satisfying. It feels like whatever in here is gonna be nice and secure. The third thing that surprised me the most about this bag, which candidly was what I was maybe most concerned with, was the comfort. Given the fact that this is a 3.4 pound bag, I know for a lot of people that's going to be a nitpick, just the weight in and of itself. For me, it's not really a nitpick because you can't have it all, right? It's like if you want a bag using 14 ounce heavy duty wax canvas, this beautiful, really thick, full grain leather, which is what makes the bag look and feel so awesome. Well, it's going to come with the weight factor. Also keep in mind that within the wax canvas leather heritage category, the vast majority of bags are in that weight. Like the Filson Journeyman, definitely on the heavy side. If you look at the Evergood CTB 20, 1 liter bigger than this, it's almost 4 pounds. The GR1, which is 2 liters bigger, is 3.6 instead of 3.4 pounds. So that's just a compromise that you get. In the end of the day, if you want a supremely comfortable bag that's lightweight, you shouldn't be looking at wax canvas or leather to begin with. But the vast majority of the heritage style bags, less so the Gora, because like GR1 is a very comfortable bag, but really just like the old school ones, Filson Frost River, Bradley Mountain, you have some of the newer ones like Nutsack, Double Oak Essentials. There's very minimal to no padding on the straps or the back. Oftentimes you get literally raw wax canvas. That's what's gonna be touching your back. I don't have like sweaty back syndrome, but anyone that sweats pretty easily, the last thing you want is wax canvas, as it's not really a breathable material. The whole point of it is to try to block wind and give you some resistance from the elements as well. But yeah, I literally, just for the social experiment, was camping last weekend. We went on a 3-mile hike with the kids, and I took the bag and I had it packed out with snacks, a few other essentials, water bottle, big one filled with water, and a number of other things. And I was genuinely very surprised at how comfortable the bag was. They're just using a nice mesh padding here, as well as the top. And then in the bottom, when I walk you through it, you'll see that this is also an excellent luggage pass-through, but it breathes well and it's comfortable. So, you know, if I had a long commute every day and I valued comfort, I think just in general for an EDC 19-liter bag, there's going to be better options from a comfort perspective just because of the weight factor. But even still, this would not be a deal breaker for me at all, just because I think they did a good job of balancing comfort given the weight, and you just get something that looks so freaking awesome. Now, in terms of the nitpicks, I really only have 2. One are the use of PU-coated zippers, and secondly is the execution of the laptop/tablet sleeves. They're a little bit too roomy for my liking. And here's why. So with the PU-coated zippers, this is something that's prevalent in all of the WaterField Designs products. They've opted for PU-coated zippers. I wouldn't say I'm like against them, just mixed feelings. I think they look great. I think this is like the main modern touch that you have on the shell of the bag. Aesthetically, I think it very much contributes to their overall design language. The heritage combined with little tasteful touches of modern. The matte black looks great. My main issue with it is that the rest of the outside of this bag is made from wax canvas and full grain leather, materials that, like I've said, they develop a beautiful patina over time. The more you beat them up, it contributes that distressed personality that it gets, that I think people that are looking for a wax canvas and leather bag, that's something that they value. And now with these PU coated zippers, yes, like you can maintain them. They recommend using like WD-40. There's like a variety of lubricants that will extend their shelf life. But in the end of the day, it just, for me, psychologically knowing that as long as you clean and condition the leather, the wax canvas, reapply wax when needed, these things are gonna be bomb-proof forever. But the zippers themselves, with enough heat and humidity and time, they'll start peeling because it's essentially just a sophisticated film of plastic. Only that when that happens, there's like nothing sexy about it. So for anyone that's looking to get this bag and have this be your only bag for everything, yes, it's great from a functionality standpoint. It's literally called the Tech Folio. It does such a great job of organizing your tech essentials. So if you're commuting in a place like San Francisco, which is where this company is, and you want that protection from the elements, I can see like the nice thing about having that from a peace of mind. But me personally, I would still rather have non-PU coated zippers, knowing that they'll last forever. And also, wax canvas isn't a waterproof fabric. So if you're getting stuck in the rain, yes, like these PU coated zippers are gonna help. They're still not 100% waterproof. I would rather just carry an umbrella in my bag and use that when I have a torrential downpour, because even with these PU coated zippers, the water can get in through the seams as well if it's raining hardcore enough. But the good news is, from what I've read, I don't know if they're doing anything special on their end, but a lot of people that have had WaterField Designs products for many, many years, I haven't seen really people complaining about the delamination. So they've been doing bags for 25 plus years. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for why they're going in that direction still. Now, my second nitpick with the bag is in the laptop compartment. The sleeves that you get, they use fleece lined like neoprene material, provides excellent padding. There's just very good protection, which I'll get into when I do the walkthrough. But you'll notice that the sleeves themselves, like, now keep in mind, this is a 13-inch MacBook Air, so yes, it is smaller, slimmer, but there's just really a lot of extra space here, right? So it makes it so that when you have the bag like this and you're not using the Velcro strap, then the laptop just ends up caving in and eating up into the main compartment space. Same thing for the pocket in front of it, which is a good place for maybe a secondary laptop if you're that kind of person, or a tablet. Again, a lot of extra space. Now, they solve for this very easily with this Velcro strap. When you're using that, as you can see, it keeps it for the most part flush. I've just always not loved the Velcro strap. Just Velcro over time gets less and less effective. But secondly, it's just one more step. Like, every time you want to grab your laptop, having to, like, you know, use one hand, move this out of the way, hold it, to then grab the laptop. So in the way that they implemented a magnet in the front access pocket, I think that would have been a good way of solving for that. Or just potentially not even needing a Velcro strap, but just making the dimensions of these sleeves slimmer while still being able to accommodate for most modern day laptops. But yeah, if you have no problem with the additional step of using the Velcro strap, then it's not a big deal whatsoever. But with that being said, let me walk you through the bag. Here in the front, they have a very aesthetic defining feature, which is this beautiful, thick, full grain leather panel. And you have the front quick access pocket here. You can see on the inside, they have their gold liner, which I'll talk about here in a second. The base of the bag is wax canvas like the rest of the bag. It's a 14 ounce. Martexin is the kind of wax that they're using, wax canvas. And this padding that you'll feel here in the bottom and in the sides really helps give the bag more structure, more protection for your tech. And lastly, it helps with the standability. I mean, this bag stands really, really well on its own. Right now, because of how it's packed, the material is just kind of like flapping forward a little bit, but once you have a few things in there, then it takes a better like upright form. They're using PU-coated YKK zippers. These look like number 8s, if I'm not mistaken. The zipper pulls themselves are super cool. They just kind of remind me of like old school airplane wings, which just matches with the heritage aesthetic. They're matte black and these are custom made in-house. And due to the fact that they have like this space, if you're the kind of person that wants to have the ability to lock these zipper pulls, you are able to do that. The zippers themselves are incredibly, incredibly smooth, especially considering the fact that they are PU-coated zippers. Like as you can see, like I'm like pretty much just lightly holding onto the bag, but both that one and the laptop compartment. This is one of the advantages of just using more heavy duty materials, having a bag that's more structured. It really helps with the overall zipping experience. So I give it like a 9.2 from a Pilgrim churned butter smoothness rating. Anything above a 9.0 is like, it sparks joy when I use it. Anything below a 9, I think anything below an 8.5 maybe just becomes a deal breaker for me, but 9 and higher makes me a happy guy. And then on the back side, they have a full grain leather grab handle, which has like a nice little bit of padding, feels great picking it up. The stitching, I mean, the construction of this bag, every detail is, you can tell they're meticulously built and meticulously inspected, because I couldn't find a single place where I was like, oh, that's shoddy work, like not even close. I talk already about the comfort because this is one of the pros of this bag, especially considering the weight. But you have a nice mesh padding on the straps. You have it up here. You have a little space that ends up giving you a little bit of ventilation. And then the lower back mesh padding also functions as a luggage pass-through. I really like these luggage pass-through styles just because you get even more stability. You're not dealing with a piece of webbing that over time loosens up. And as far as like sliding the bag onto the suitcase, I feel like it's easier to do it with something like this than having to pull back a piece of webbing. And one other nice thing that I don't know if I would use, maybe I would, but it's a nice to have, is that with this design, if you loosen the straps, you can actually tuck them back here. So if you're flying, you've got the bag in the seat in front of you and you don't want these straps in the way, I would actually give that a whirl. You can do that and then the bag just lays flush like that. They're using these like premium matte black buckles here. The one component of the bag that initially I had mixed feelings, and I think over time they've definitely become a net positive, but the strap keepers themselves, like thank you for even including strap keepers where a lot of heritage bags don't even include them. But if you look at it up close, the quality just doesn't feel like it's matching the quality of the rest of the bag. It's the one little detail on here, which again, usually you get a little piece of elastic webbing. But yeah, the plastic just doesn't look or feel super premium. But from a functionality standpoint, they're actually like pretty amazing, because you oftentimes with elastic ones, you have to find the elastic and like slide it to wherever you want to. But with this one, when you loosen it up, it comes up with you. You tighten it, but then like pretty much it goes down on its own or very easily. Like, yeah, as you can see right now, it's going down on its own. So you don't really have to like fandangle with it whatsoever. Loosen, tighten, and then with the weight, they just naturally go down on their own. So have never seen something like that, and I've grown to really appreciate it. Another like pro of this bag, I just didn't want to put more than 3, is this mustard gold liner that, from what I gathered, they've been using the same exact liner since their first bag, which came out like in 1998. It almost feels like a fabric that you would find upholstered on a couch. It has more of like a cozy, comfortable feeling than a lot of these like very technical nylon ripstop materials. The color is great because it brightens up the inside of the bag. You get great visibility. And I just very over boring liner colors. I feel like for so many brands, it's just an afterthought, or they give you a gray because it's high visibility. But I'll take something like this any day, and the contrast of a color like this, I think, works so well with just the tobacco brown leather / wax canvas. You'll see you have a variety of different types of pockets to fit different things. Starting off with the top one, this is like my quick access one. So AirPods, sunglasses, it's suspended away from everything else, and I don't have to open this and then unzip another pocket just to get into it. You have a key clip here. One thing I like is the fact that you can actually like put your keys here, tuck them in away from the rest of the bag rather than them hanging out. And then this mesh that they're using, their monolite mesh, is a really elegant solution. It's semi-transparent. It's not like your things are super visible, but visible enough that you know what's in there. And there's just a very subtle amount of stretch with these pockets. Another nice thing is that with zippered pockets, oftentimes they're too tight, like there's not enough width, or they're too deep. But I feel like these are just a really good width and height to fit the vast majority of your tech essentials. And having the ability to zip them up is great. So I've got passport here on one side, charging cube on the other. Here on the bottom, these are like fleece lined neoprene pockets, which are fantastic. There's 2 things I usually struggle finding a place for that's very dedicated in a bag. One is a tech pouch, if I'm using a tech pouch. Now, this is a bag that they'd probably be disappointed in you for using a tech pouch because it's designed so that you have a pocket for everything. You don't need a tech pouch. But for people that do still like to have a tech pouch or a pouch of sorts, this is the Evergoods Cap one, and it fits really nicely in there. The other thing I struggle finding a place for is my Logitech MX mouse. When I travel, like, I'm not gonna use anything else. This is my baby. I'd rather have a smaller tech pouch and not have to worry about the mouse. But if I have a perfect place for my mouse in my bag, that's the best of both worlds. And this thing fits like a glove in that pocket. So I've got that in there. Mobile battery bank on the other. You'll notice this thing really unzips all the way, so you get really easy access into here. And then on the opposite side, you've got a long zippered pocket. That's where I keep my 6-foot USB-C to USB-C cable. And then you've got like 2 extra pockets. Like, I'll just to show you, throw a wallet on one side, a little adapter dongle on the other. But if you're someone that carries a bunch of tech, you love having a space for each of those things, you're gonna love this bag. And then you have 2 additional pockets here, which I don't even know what to do with them. It's just like, hey, it's cool that I can throw them in there. Last thing worth calling out is you'll notice there's a little felt-like sleeve hidden here for an air tag, if you wanna have an air tag on your bag. And then lastly, getting into the main compartment of the bag, this is an interesting opening, something that was a little less intuitive for me, just in the sense that getting into the main compartment is from all the way in the back, how you would get into a dedicated laptop compartment, but I've gotten accustomed to it. This is a 19-liter bag, which I find for everyday carry, depending on what you carry, this is gonna vary person to person, but I think it's just a very practical size. If you're gonna want a one bag with it, I'll show you, like, you can actually fit enough stuff for it. I packed in this 10-liter packing cube, 5 shirts, and a pair of pants. Just to give you an idea of just space-wise that does fit in there. But given the weight of the bag, Yeah, I probably, maybe for like a one-nighter, packing a lot lighter than this, but I wouldn't be using this bag personally for a one bag option. You've got the laptop and tablet sleeve here. You can fit up to a 16-inch laptop. This is a 13-inch MacBook Air. It actually fits in the front sleeve of it as well. It gets to like right about there. Anything bigger than it, it'll just kind of, you know, maybe sit less flush there. This was one of my nitpicks. In case you skip through that, I talk about why I don't love the overall execution, but I'll throw the timestamp where I talk about that below. Pocket-wise, you have two other pockets here. If you're the kind of person that wants to have your laptop charger close to your laptop, great place for that. If not, fits a moleskin perfectly. I'll throw the dimensions of that below. And then I've got snacks, a pen right there. Now, the water bottle holder, this is internal. Now, while my first choice would be either external or maybe external with a zippered compartment, so it kind of makes it internal, I think it would kind of ruin the overall aesthetic of the bag, so I understand why they did that. If you like having an external water bottle holder, they have the Shinjuku laptop backpack that you can look into. This is a 32-ounce hydro flask, and the diameter of this works excellently. Something like this, you still have a little bit of wiggle room here, but it's really secure. I feel like if GoRuck did something like this, just something as simple as that, it would make a huge difference. Because like me personally, like I don't want my water bottle moving around, especially if I don't have a lot of other things in there. The possibility of it opening up a little bit, leaking, or just like hitting whatever I have in there. So I think this is still a nice, elegant solution for the bag. But yeah, I mean, that is pretty much it. Final thoughts are, if you identify with heritage style bags, you love that nostalgia, like those emotions that these timeless materials invoke, especially in today's world where everything's just gotten so techy, so modern. This to me serves as a refreshing reminder of like how simple life should be. So if you want those elements, but you are also accustomed to the creature comforts of a modern day human being, which are, hey, I like the look of this, but I also want organization because I carry tech, whereas most heritage traditional bags, they're built to carry like not laptops, not cables, things like that. And you're also gonna be commuting with it. You value comfort. That's gonna make you enjoy your bag a lot more. This bag checks off all of those boxes. It also stands on its own. Look-wise, obviously a subjective thing, but I think it looks great in very much its own way. And then the fact that it is handmade in small batch production runs in San Francisco, in the US. So if you live in this country and you want to support the local economy, given the fact that this bag is priced at around $400, which is pretty much what you're gonna have to pay for a Filson, a Frost River, Bradley Mountain bags are like double the cost. Also the Nutsack rucksack, $400. GR1 in wax canvas, CTB20 in wax canvas, they're all like in that price range. So the only one that I'm curious to check out is the Double Oak Essentials, their backpack, also made from wax canvas. I don't know the thickness of it. It's a lot simpler. I don't think you're gonna get the comfort factor. You're definitely not getting the organization factor, but it's $200. So that's a much more affordable solution to someone that wants something wax canvas heritage, but at a more accessible price point. Beyond that, candidly, I have another bag after this that I'm gonna start using for my next review, and I am already feeling a little nostalgic, but I'm gonna have to be looking at it from afar without being able to use it as much as I'd like, but I can't wait to continue using this for different things. And definitely like heirloom quality bag, similar to the Pioneer Panda Pack that I did in my last review, in the emotions that bag invokes and the fact that that's something that I'm gonna wanna have forever and pass down to my kids if they want it. So other than that, best of luck and cheers, and happy 4th of July to my fellow Americanos.